Hey guys, if you want to know how to sanitize your freshwater tank, I'm going to show you how to do it on this episode of Roaming with Rosie. Hey guys, it's Jamie back at you. What we got going today is we're going to sanitize our RV water system. Basically, when we purchased this back in January, I didn't sanitize it. I thought maybe the place where we bought it from had possibly done it. It hasn't been, as far as I know. I don't know whether they did that or not. Here it is June, and we're coming up on taking another trip, long trip, so we will make sure that we have good fresh water while we're out traveling, don't have any issues as far as water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process of how you sanitize the water system in your RV. One side note before we get started: if you do have a tankless water heater with a copper heat exchanger, you're going to want to bypass that and not run any of the chlorinated water through that. I've been watching videos about sanitizing your RV system, and there's a lot of people that are pushing products out there saying chlorine's bad for the components and bad for your rubber seals and all that kind of stuff. It can be if you don't do your mixture correctly. If you're not using the proper amount of bleach, if you're using too much bleach, of course it's going to cause an issue. But if you do it the correct way, it's not going to cause any problems at all. And as a matter of fact, the only product that the NSF, the ANSI, the FDA, and the EPA certify is bleach, because they know that it sanitizes everything, and that's the only thing. All these other products that are being pushed out there, whether it's on a YouTube video or wherever else on Amazon or whatever, those I don't believe are certified like bleach is. And just like anything else, if you use too much, obviously it can cause a problem. But if you do it correctly, this is the safest and the cheapest thing to use for sanitizing your RV system. So let me go ahead and show you how that whole process works, and we'll get going with it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my mixture. What you want to do is, for every 15 gallons of water, you want to add a quarter cup of bleach. So we have 100 gallons, so I'm basically going to do about a cup and a half. So I'm going to pour a cup and a half of bleach in my measurer here. And one thing, depending on how long your bleach has been sitting around, it does lose its potency over time. So if it's been sitting for a long time, you may want to go and get new bleach. So we're going to do a cup and a half. Okay, so I got a cup and a half of my bleach, and what I'm using this container for is I'm going to pour my bleach in here, and then I'm going to add water to it. So we're just going to fill this up with water. While that's filling up, the other thing we're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at your monitoring system to see how much water is in your fresh water tank. You need enough room to be able to add this mixture plus add more water to your tank. Okay, so now we have that filled up. Our next step is we're going to go outside. I'm going to go to my freshwater inlet, and I'm going to use a funnel to basically pour that in to my freshwater tank, and then I'm going to top my freshwater tank off. One thing I suggest doing, because you're going to be sanitizing your system and the water needs to sit there for a minimum of at least 8 hours. I let it go overnight. My suggestion is, if you have some containers, you're going to want to fill those up, whether they're 1 gallon, 2 gallon, or whatever it may be. You're going to want to fill those up before you start sanitizing your water. You're going to want to fill those up have those set aside. You're going to need to wash your hands, wash dishes, brush your teeth, prep food, any of that kind of stuff. So having that water set aside would be a great idea. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take this outside. I'm going to get my funnel. I'm going to pour it into my freshwater tank. I checked my monitor, and my monitor says I'm 2/3 full, so I have a third left. So now I want to take my funnel, and the only thing I use this funnel for is for doing this process. I don't use this funnel for anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into my inlet here, and then I'm going to pour my solution down through there into the freshwater tank. Okay, so we got that all in there. Next step, we need to get a hose, put it into our inlet here, top it off so we know that we're all the way full on our freshwater tank. Once that's done, then we'll move on to the next step. So the tank's all full up. I know that because underneath I have an overflow and water started coming out of there, so I know that it's all full. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my hose out, I'm going to close this up, and then we're going to go back inside and move on to the next step. Now that we have our bleach solution in the tank, in our freshwater tank, and also topped it off with fresh water, we're going to go to each faucet, and also in the shower, we're going to use the shower too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the water on, and I'm going to wait until I smell like that smell of bleach. Once I smell that, I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to switch it over to the hot water side. This might take a little while because it has to go from the freshwater tank through your water pump and all the way through the lines all the way up to here. Okay, now I smell it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut that off. I'm going to turn it to the hot water side. Your water heater doesn't have to be on for that to work. Basically all it's going to do is going to run through the water heater, but run through the hot water line. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over there. Okay, got it. So this faucet is done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the other two faucets because we have a bath and a half. So I'm going to do both of those faucets. I'm going to do the shower, and again I'm going to do the hot and the cold side. So we're sanitizing both of those lines, the hot side and the cold side. Once I'm done with that, then we let it sit. So I'm going to let it sit, like I said, you let it sit for a minimum of 8 hours. I'm going to let it sit longer, or I'm going to let it go overnight. Then we'll come back and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now we'll do the hot side. I should let Linda do this. She can smell a mouse fart from 50 yards away. Okay, so that one's done. Now I'm going to need to do the master bath, sink, and then also the shower. Okay. Now I'm doing the hot side. Okay, so we've done the entire system. We've done all the faucets. We've done the shower. We've done all that. Need to let it sit a minimum of 8 hours. I'm going to let it sit overnight. Then what we do is we drain our freshwater tank all the way down. Come back tomorrow and then I'll show you the next step from there. Alright, so we let the bleach water solution sit overnight. Like I said, you want to let it sit a minimum of 8 hours. So we let that sit, disinfect everything. Now, and then what I did was I went and drained my tank down completely so it's empty, my freshwater tank. Refilled it up, so now I have all fresh water in there. The next step, what I need to do is basically do the same thing we did earlier, where we go to each faucet, run the water to see if we get a bleach smell. Once the bleach smell goes away, then we know we're good at that faucet and we move on to the next one, and we just repeat that same process. Okay, I don't smell any bleach. Turn it over to the hot water side. Do the same thing. Okay, we're good there. Now what I need to do is do the other two faucets in the bathroom and then the shower. Okay, so that's all the steps to sanitize your freshwater system in your RV. And again, that's something you want to do at least once a year so that you know that your system is fresh and clean. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't know that it had ever been done, being that we bought this as a used RV. Now I know that we have fresh, safe water for us and Dexter while we're out traveling around. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd share it with your friends and family on social media. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that way you'll be notified each time we upload a new video. And make sure to leave a comment, that way you could be part of the conversation. Until next time, we'll see you.